welcome to episode 1 of RNF Unlocked, a podcast series that gives you exclusive insider access to the CryptoDATA RNF MotoGP team. We hope you enjoyed the pilot episode last week as we took you behind the scenes of the team's debut in the 2023 MotoGP World Championship. My name is Neil Morrison, and today I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Team Principal Razlan Razali. Hello, Razlan.
Hi, guys.
Also, Team Manager Wilco Zeelenberg. Hi, Wilco.
Hi, good afternoon.
And also, MotoGP journalist David Emmett. Hello, David.
Hello.
So, guys, we're here in Austin ahead of round 3 of the championship. We're delighted to say that we're back to 2 riders this weekend in the RNF racing team. Miguel is here, and I guess you guys are expecting a good weekend ahead, Razlan.
Yeah, we're back at full strength. So we had a chat with Miguel, it's looking good. We also had a discussion with his crew chief. Initially they wanted him to take it easy, but it seems that Miguel said no, don't worry about his physical condition. He's feeling good. He's looking good, confident, motivated. He wants to pick up where he left off in Portimao, of course, before the crash.
Wilco, you're an ex-rider. You know what it's like to ride with injuries. How do you think Miguel will manage with the injury, with the hematoma that he suffered?
Yeah, as the impact was quite big, but he directly mentioned it needed treatment straight away, and actually there was no time to have that treatment because he needed to fly out to Argentina. So in that made sense to stay at home, give it a good treatment because he could not move the leg. And he said if it would have been probably a European round and I could have done the treatment and stay at home and drive to Jerez, for example, the same weekend, maybe he could have ridden, but he said it was not the case. I said, well, Argentina, you have to travel 2 days without treatment. He said, I would not have been able to move my leg. And that was one of the results that he was medical unfit.
Okay, guys, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Austin a little bit later in the episode. But before that, I want to go back to the last race in Argentina. Obviously, it was a bit of a complicated weekend for the team. You only had one rider. Raul Fernandez was your sole participant in the Argentine Grand Prix. And I think we saw in the race, wet conditions, they weren't ideal. The track was very dirty as well. We saw a difficult time for the Aprilias. I mean, can you guys maybe understand what exactly was going on there? Why didn't we see the best from the Aprilia riders in Argentina?
Yeah, of course. We look really forward to go with 2 riders first of all, and especially when it rained, of course, on the Sunday because Raul Miguel is especially strong last year with winning 2 races. Anyway, the first 2 practices, the Aprilia boys were first and second in the dry, but then of course on Saturday the qualifying was wet and everybody struggled a little bit to qualify themselves on the first 2 rows. And I think especially for the Aprilia boys, this was the main problem. But even in the race, when we saw the warm-up also wet, they didn't do a real bad job and they felt with the bike quite okay. But during the race, they did not get the tire temperature right and they struggled to get grip and to get out of the corner. So, but they all 3 end up a little bit together, and Raul had finally 2 points, and we were happy to have him finishing at least with 2 points in the pocket because he was fighting with Nakagami, and he has been struggling last year with other boys in the back, but now finally with other riders and in a group to see him finishing having 2 points was at least positive for us.
Yeah, I think we put aside the race day because the condition is not very good. But for him to qualify 13th, I think that's a good improvement, good step for him. We just have to progress from there.
The thing is, a lot of it is about confidence. We know how important it is that kind of that confidence. Obviously, you brought Noé Herrera in as a crew chief. Are you seeing that his confidence is growing? He seemed to lose a lot of confidence last year at Tech 3.
No, I think he made a big step in the wintertime. And I think we forget that all the boys where he's fighting with are different riders than he was fighting with last year. So if you have 8 Ducatis at the moment that are really strong, then you still have Fabio there, you have Marc, you have all world champions there. Mir also not to forget. So before you know it, you are on position 12, 13 or 14, and actually that's where he is at the moment. And of course we expect a lot for him because he has a lot of talent, but clearly those boys around him have more experience at the moment, and we need to calm him down and give him a little bit more time to outperform himself.
Yeah, not forgetting he is the youngest kid on MotoGP. We are actually paying a lot more attention to him to make sure that he's more calm, to get his confidence back. I mean, we put a lot of work to make sure that he has fun. You know, similar to what we did in 2019 with Fabio, we actually protect him to make sure that he's feeling comfortable with the structure, with everybody around him, to make him have fun again. I think that's important.
How do you protect him as a team principal or a team manager? I mean, can you tell us maybe one or two of the techniques? Is it a case of putting an arm around the shoulder and trying to make him feel loved, to make him feel comfortable, to make him feel welcomed?
Well, for example, he was, of course, disappointed to finish 14th in Argentina. But, if you agree with that and you give him the feeling that we expected more, but you can also say you beat the winner from last year because he finally finished in front of Aleix. And he was on the same bike, and Aleix was 15th, and Raul was 14th. So you always need to look to the positive thing when he finishes a race, And those boys are giving everything, and we saw also from Pecco how easy it is to not finish, because Pecco was clearly on a mission to ride this race safely and put it on the bike on the podium, and come back to Austin with a lot of points ahead. But finally, he also need to keep on racing and keep concentrated and not to lose the bike, because in the rain everything is possible.
Well, what did you think of Marco Bezzecchi's performance? Because obviously it was, fantastic race, and he just looked really calm and serene and almost not like he was racing at all, almost.
Yeah, no. I saw that race, and to finish ahead of the whole group, 5 seconds in the wet, and also what he did, in the dry. So he's clearly a title challenger. And I saw magazines who's going to chase Pecco, and I think it's Marco Bezzecchi. It's quite clear after 2 races. And as you said, he's very calm and he's very keen to the media, and he's not stressed out about anything. He's just doing his dream and try to enjoy it to the maximum.
Yeah, it shows how good the Ducati is. Huh? I mean, that's a bit worrying for everybody. I mean, he looks really comfortable on that bike, and he's just blitzing it in that round. Let's see how he does it in round 3. But that Ducati is damn good.
Do you think he could be the new star of MotoGP this year, Razlan? The same way that maybe we looked at Enea Bastianini last year as the new kid that has come to the series and is making a big impression?
I think all the 8 Ducati riders have a chance, because again, I think the bike is really good. I mean, look at Alex Marquez. 2 years with Honda hardly make an impact, well, except for the first year. But to come in his second race to get on the podium, we're not offending Alex, but he is a world champion. Okay, but it's just that the bike is that good.
Interesting about the different approach. Alex Marquez was with Honda. He was in the LCR team, didn't get a lot of attention. Alex Rins today in Spanish was sort of saying that he felt a little bit neglected by Honda. Aprilia, Ducati, especially Aprilia, like you have Romano in your box regularly, you seem to get a lot more support. Is this a difference in attitude between European and Japanese manufacturers?
I think before Wilco answer that, I'll answer first. I think yes. I think the attitude of the Japanese factory team is so much different than the attitude of the European teams. The Aprilia and the Ducati is very different. We've seen it in only our second race. We've seen it the first test. The support that they give us, not only from what we are contracted to them, the constant visit by Massimo, Romano, and the likes of them to come in to make sure that everything's okay is something that we really appreciate, and it gives the confidence to the riders. They don't feel like they are in a satellite team. They get as much attention. For Raul, when he's the only one in Argentina, for Massimo to come in and sit down and chat with him, it's good to see.
And did I hear, I think Raul said in one of his debriefs in Argentina, he was struggling at one point in one of the practice sessions. Aleix maybe allowed him to follow him for 1 or 2 laps and give him an idea of where he was strong, where he was missing out. And I guess Raul was very thankful. This is another sign that Aprilia is working together with you guys very closely.
Yes. So, they try to help out in every place. And the passion and ambition is that high, that they are here to win, and they really want to win, and they want to take risks. and that's what I think and also we missed a little bit with the Japanese manufacturers. Quite a bit. The level is good and the bikes are fine and nothing is breaking down, but you need to take risk if you really want to win. And if the ambition is high enough, you take those risks. And these boys are clearly willing to do anything to be on top.
Absolutely, yes. So switching our attention to this weekend here at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, David and I were listening to the riders' debriefs here today at the track on Thursday before practice one kicks off tomorrow morning. The big talking point was the condition of the track. It's probably the bumpiest track that we have in the entire MotoGP calendar. I mean, this obviously presents a massive... it's quite a big challenge for you guys to find the correct setup. I mean, can you tell us a little bit of how difficult is it, this track for the riders?
They fixed the bumps. Did they fix the bumps?
No, what they've done is what they do is they sort of shave a little bit off of the top of the bumps, but they've done it several times and there's still some bumps. And also, like for example, the back straight, it's hard to fix that because it's not so much bumps, it's more sort of undulations and waves and stuff.
Or if I am allowed it, because when I was at Sapansuka, every single little bumps, they complain to me and I have to fix it proper.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the underground. So the bumps are moving from left to right and back.
We had water in Sapansuka that moved from turn 7 to only turn 9.
Yes.
We had that problem since 1999.
I went around the track this morning and they shaved again a little bit in 19, but actually they did not do a lot. This year, last year, I think they have done more, and the need to do more, I don't know at the moment because we have nobody seen around, but so far it doesn't look very bad. But it's a bumpy track and it's very physical, demanding. It's of course 20 corners and it's only 20 laps. But the first split is really hard because it's high speed. You don't have to roll off throttle, but you have to keep on moving and have a good agility on the bike so that you can make the corners fast. And if you miss the first one on Apex, you screw up all the other corners as well behind it. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are gone. So then the lap is basically done, So you have to start all over again, but you need to finish the lap first before you can do another attack.
A bit of an odd question, but say you crash down at turn 11. It's a long way. This is such a long track. It would take forever to get the bike back. And there are other tracks where you crash and it's fine. Saxony, you crash, doesn't matter. You get the bike back.
That's why we have 2 bikes. This is MotoGP. We have 2 bikes. No, we have Torlive around, and he's always on the scooter. We always have connection. Many times you're not able to get the bike back. This is also, of course, this happens. But also with this new concept, FP3 is actually quite sensitive practice because
you can't afford to crash in
exactly.
FP3.
So FP3 is more serious than all the other practices because if you miss that one and you screw up the qualifying, and that's priority number 1 for the weekend.
Is the preparation for the bike here different to the majority of other races just because of the track surface?
Yes, there is a lot of hard braking, so for sure setup is a little bit different. The base balance not so bad because you have fast corners, slow corners, hard braking, and short Mickey Mouse turns, like turn 11 is what is it? The rollator corner, I call it, because with a rollator you can go through faster than with the bike. But anyway, exits are important, and the last 15, 16, 17 turn is a long, right side corner, and you tear the tire quite a lot. But overall, the base setup is not bad, but not completely different, but a little bit, yes.
Okay, absolutely. One of the interesting things about this weekend, I guess, is the man that's won, I think, 7 of the 9 races here at this track, and Marc Marquez isn't here. We also heard today that basically the appeal for the penalty that he received that was going to be at the next race, that is under consideration. I think he's received a stay of execution. Wilco, just your opinion, Marc has served his penalty now. Do you think that...
Well, yes. Look, in the beginning, of course, with the too long lap, we were very disappointed because we thought he deserved more. But now he's already 3 races out. And actually, I'm okay with anything. He's also 3 races out. We have our rider back, and we need to start from this weekend onwards. And those boys are making a mistake. He already accepted that he deserved the penalty. Which one it was, doesn't matter so much anymore because he's also 3 races out, which is a lot. And that's enough for me. So if he appealed because it was not correct in the paperwork, and we need to keep ourselves to the program and to the rules, which also should the organization do. And if they've written it wrong and they fight against it,
Well, I like to be a little bit more critical on this. I mean, this is MotoGP, it's a world championship. I mean, for the stewards not able to make a decision at this stage is a real joke. Okay, I mean, yeah, the incident has passed, but we need to have a resolution on how to move forward in the future.
So it's more about not having a repeat of this, where a penalty is imposed, the main appeal, and then it gets changed.
And it's also the principle of the championship, principle of law of the FIM thing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to serve the penalty. Mm-hmm. I mean, so what if he miss Argentina and now he miss America because of injury? He has to serve the penalty. We all expect that when you have the penalty, okay, you need to serve it. Okay, just because you're out of injury doesn't mean you serve it. You know, and that's one. Okay, mm-hmm. And number two, for the stewards not able to make this decision shows a lot what a joke they are. Mm-hmm. Okay, and until now we have not heard any single statement from FIM, from the stewards. You know, they're oblivious of the repercussion of what they did. And the championship suffering is a big joke. It's a world championship. You know, lives at risk for riders racing already, and yet they're not doing anything. They come up with a 20 pages statement today. Okay, a decision not to do anything. You know, it's silly.
No, I don't. Yeah, get me wrong. I completely agree with that. But I want to focus on what is now. You know, this is out of my control, and clearly the penalty was not what we expected. You know, if we saw Aaron Cornet, for example, making this, the start, the penalty for the start was also too long lap. You know, he made a false start in Argentina. He had a too long lap. And that makes sense in my eyes. In the past, you had the 30 seconds penalty because you have to go through pit lane. This is too much because he just moved. He had no advantage. And with the too long lap, it was acceptable. You lose 1.5 or 2 or 3 seconds. That was enough. But when Mark T-boned Miguel, that clearly was a bigger mistake in my eyes. And he could have been killed. And that deserved a bigger penalty. Which one, I don't know, but not the too long lap, you know. So anyway, I agree with that, but also the organization need to step up the game in my eyes.
I don't know when FIM is really going to wake up and do something. To be honest, I mean nobody's learning anything. You know, so what if it happens again this weekend? You know, so what are they going to do?
Consistency needs to be better, I think, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, especially the moments and the accidents we had in Portimao, that's a mistake, and it's a T-bone on a rider that enters a corner. You come from behind, and yeah, you have to take care, at least for the riders. Of course, you want to see riders passing each other, and they will make mistakes, and accidents will happen. This is racing, we know that. But if you make a disaster like that, the penalty need to be bigger, you know, and I did it myself as well. You realize when you fuck up, and you're going to hurt somebody. But that there is a penalty for it, that's normal.
Absolutely. Changing our attentions, looking back at the first race when we last saw Miguel competing, he was fighting for victory. I mean, I guess considering his injury, we can't maybe be expecting that kind of thing this weekend. We probably have to be a little more modest in our expectations. Would you agree with that?
As I said in previous interviews, I mean, we know that Miguel has a chance to do something this season, but the highest chance of him doing something special is at his home Grand Prix, and we saw that. Okay, unfortunately, things happen. So now we are taking a step back because he's coming back from injury. First time in Circuit of America, so we're taking it session by session, I think. I don't dare to put anything at the moment.
No, it's indeed difficult. Austin is so long and it's such a special track, I would say. It is difficult to predict. Also, both boys didn't have a fantastic last year here. And of course, they were on a different bike. They chose the wrong tire, in my eyes, because everybody was on soft and they were both on medium. So let's learn something from that, first of all. But first we want to see them confident and fast around this racetrack, and so step by step.
Is this a good track for Aprilia? Because last year we saw Aleix and Maverick finish similar positions. Aleix was saying today that he feels that he's not very strong at this track, especially in the first sector. It's not really suited to his riding style. Maverick, on the other hand, loves this place, and we saw him with really good rhythm in last year's race. I mean, do you think this is a track suited to the RSGP?
I think not spectacular. It suits the track, but I think Maverick is very good here, and basically he made a mistake last year during qualifying because he was too far back. The first 2-3 laps he lost too much time, and he finished 10th, I think, and 11th they were. But it doesn't particularly suit, I think, the Aprilia. But if you qualify well, and this is the target, then it should not be a drama to follow the boys in the front. This is another thing. But if you start from behind top 10, it will be very difficult to fight to the top because everybody will be gone.
Is it a rider's track or is it a bike track? Is it a track which suits a particular bike, or is it a track where riders either like it or they don't and they go fast?
You have to explain that on a little bit more. A rider's track or a bike track? So I think it's a bit of a combination of that.
Right.
No, as I said,
it seems that some riders love it and some riders hate it, and it splits opinion a lot more. There's lots of other tracks where
we've seen it before with Fabio and Yamaha, right? Before that track in Austria. It's not a Yamaha track, but then
he was fantastic there. Yeah, exactly.
It's all in the mind, isn't it?
Yes.
It's all in the mind.
It's all in the mind.
Yeah.
No, I believe that every track is, you can be fast. But of course, it starts with the qualification and preparing your bike well, and believe that you're able to do it, and this is at this track, because there are so many different moments in a lap that you are able to get distracted by anything because there's such a different positions on the bike and with the bike that it's easy to forget that you need to be precise and concentrate on exits.
Just finally, guys, wrapping up this episode. Obviously, this is a very physical track. It's the first time that we're going to have a sprint race, then the full race here. I mean, this is probably going to be the ultimate physical test for your riders this weekend, right?
Yeah, but the sprint race is only 10 laps, so it's not so long.
that is what the riders were telling us earlier. They were all saying, no, 10 laps sprint race is going to be just as bad.
Yes, no, it's true.
It is a demanding track, so I can't say anything until we'll see after the race tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion today, guys. I would like to say thanks very much to you, Wilco. Thanks as well, Razlan. And thanks, David, for joining us today. And thank you, listener, for once again tuning in to RNF Unlocked, episode 1 of the podcast series. We hope you continue to check out the next episode, where we'll bring you even more unlocked access from the CryptoDATA RNF MotoGP team.